Hey everyone, it's Jeannie here. Today I am so honored to be joined by this incredible woman of God. She is a filmmaker, an actress. She played Monica, the kind-hearted angel on the hit TV show Touched by an Angel. She's also produced the epic history-making The Bible series that has been seen by over 100 million people. But today we're here to talk about her new book, Be an Angel, Miss Roma Downey. Thank you so much for joining me.
So nice to see you, Jeannie. Always, it's just lovely, lovely to be on with you, and to share, to share a little bit about my new book. It's always so exciting. You know, when you work hard on something, I probably took over a year while I was doing other things as well, because being an author is not my full-time job. But I just had the stories in my heart. I felt the nudge to sit down in the morning and write them down, in the hopes that by sharing, because it's very personal, they're truly anecdotal from my own life, but by sharing the joys and the sorrows of what has been my journey and the lessons learned along the way, that there would be something valuable in those stories for the reader. Pastor Rick Warren often talks about turning pain into purpose, and I've tried to do that a little bit here with some of the heartaches that I had gone through, and that maybe by sharing them and allowing myself to be vulnerable on the page, that in turn it might bring some comfort or help somebody get through a challenging season in their own life.
Yeah, absolutely. I was able to read through some of the book, and I could feel God breathed on it. I know you even share how you felt led to do this. And I genuinely feel like, as you're saying the words of your testimony, they're really going to help people. It's overcoming, the evil of this world, and, the attacks of the things that we all feel weighed down by, just by sharing. Be an angel.
Yes. Yeah.
What's your
I know.
message do
I
you
think
want?
sometimes if sometimes when you hear, somebody else has gone through something, even if it's not exactly what you're going through yourself, just to hear somebody that came through something and overcame it. How did you overcome it? Is that something that I could apply to my life? And I angels, of course, have been near and dear to my heart since my days on Touched by an Angel that you mentioned. So that's like almost 30 years now, for heaven's sake. But you look back on the success that Touched by an Angel had as a network show. I mean, we haven't really seen anything like it before or since, that it took a message of God's love on network TV every week, and 25 million people tuned in to get that message, And for anybody tuning in today that didn't see the show, I played an undercover angel, and I would show up in the lives of people who were at an emotional crossroads. And, I was pretending to be a nurse or a taxi driver or, a teacher or a myriad of other things, perhaps. And in the moment when the person finally said, I can't do this anymore. I'm hurting and I just need help. And in that vulnerability, as an angel, I was able to say, I'm actually not a nurse. I'm not a teacher. I'm an angel, and I've been sent by the Almighty with a message for you. And the message was always the same. And that is, there is a God. He loves us and he wants to be part of our lives. And, to be able to have been that messenger then, it was such a privilege for me, as a person of faith, to get to tell, people that God loved them. And I'm sure I told you before, Jeannie, but on our TV show, we would hold hands before we shot those scenes, and we would pray. And my prayer usually was less of me, more of you, less of me, more of you. And honestly, there isn't a project that I have done since or a book I've written, a film I've produced, and a TV show I've acted in, that I haven't prayed that prayer,
Wow.
big or small. I just pray it in, and I usually do my best praying in the mornings, and I try to anchor my prayer life to the habit of getting up. I usually make a cup of tea, and then I like to watch the sunrise. Now, I'm not suggesting that everybody has to get up for the sunrise. I know that can be very early for people. It just happens to work for me. And I love the significance of it and the symbolism of it, because, no matter how dark the night has felt, the sun does rise in the morning, and a chance for us to step into trying to do better, trying to make up for whatever we might have done or not done yesterday. And so I wrote this as a devotional that maybe somebody would like to take that journey with me in the mornings. And, it's just a sort of brief entry to read. There's a little bit of scripture. There's an inspirational quote there. And then at the end of each chapter, there's a Be an Angel suggestion. And in this context, it's like, what might you do to do something for somebody else? It's like, just to show somebody a little bit of kindness or pay it forward in some way.
I mean, the Great Commission that Jesus called us to, right, is to go out and to share his hope, to share who he is. And I find that, as you're charging us to be an angel, to others, it's that same mission where we have an opportunity as people, as light bearers, right? We have the light of the world that lives in us, the hope of the world. We have
that's
that.
right. You're right. He said, go tell the world, go let everybody know. And it's like, but also I think when you have had an experience of God, when you do have a relationship with the Lord, then you want everybody to know about it, because it is life-changing. It is the inner sunrise. It is stepping out from the darkness of the not knowing into the light and certainty of, the beauty and wonder and awesomeness that is our God, and how loving he is. And so, it was with joy that I sat down to write this book. I did know in my heart that out there, particularly having come through this awful pandemic, and how it has been so challenging to all of us, and each of us in a different way. Some people got very, very ill. Many people lost their lives. Other people didn't, but I think it forced all of us at least to reevaluate maybe who we are. I think we realized that there's a lot of isolation and a lot of loneliness and heartache out there. And, I feel, if nothing else, I hope my book just reminds us all, just who do you know in your neighborhood? Is there somebody that lives by themselves? Is there some old person by themselves? Could you, when you're on your way home from the grocery shop, stop and pick something up and drop it off? I mean, they're really simple things. This is not, brain surgery. It's really just
and they make a
encouraging
difference.
to make a difference. And I just really do believe, as corny as it sounds, if we want to see change in the world, and I think we do, I'm shocked continually when I jump on Twitter at how mean-spirited and cruel a place it can be, the kind of landscape that just allows people to tear each other down. I mean, just common decency and discourse, where we used to say, I don't agree with anything that you're saying, but I reserve the right to disagree, but it doesn't mean I have to hate you and rip you to shreds or try to destroy your reputation, or, so really it was like, I know it's hard to create and it's easy to criticize. It'd be easy for anybody to come on and say, well, this book or that book, but it's like, to sit down and do so. I just think we have enough critics. We need to be noisier for encouragers, and we need to encourage each other. And if we've learned something, about grief or loss, these are things that I experienced very early in my life. I just felt that maybe it would be valuable to somebody who was hurting, or who was in a season of bereavement, or who had lost a job. You know, that I have been through some of those things, and I just talk about them in this book.
I love that you mentioned not feeling worthy. You had a moment in a hospital room with a woman who just lost her child and thought you
Yes.
were the angel that God sent to her.
Yes.
And in that moment, you didn't feel, you were just like, I'm just an actress. And Miss
Yeah.
Della Reese got her sister. So I was
Stella
able to
Reese.
meet her with
Yes.
you at an event one time, and she was just so stunning. But she said
I know. She was
that
one of
if
a
we're going to
kind,
be
wasn't
used,
she?
yeah,
Yes.
she was. She said if
That's
we're
what
going to
she
be
said,
used by
Jeannie.
God, she said if we're going to be used by God, we need to let go of our expectations and get out of the way. And
That's right. We got to
sometimes,
get out of the way. I mean, it's so
right,
simple. It's
yeah,
like if God is going to use us and he's going to come through us, then, and if you're in front of that, stopping the flow of spirit, I mean, remember, we were on a TV show, so we were trying to communicate that loving message, had to go out through the camera, maybe into somebody's heart sitting on a couch somewhere. Somebody's heart was breaking somewhere. And so that's why we prayed that these words, this message, that we could be catalysts for that and I think because of how many people I've met and continue to meet who still, because Touched by an Angel is still playing in reruns somewhere.
yeah.
And so in a different
My
way.
dad just saw it. Dad just saw
Did
the whole thing
he?
with my mom. Yeah.
Uh-huh. My goodness. Well, it's still, it was such a beautiful experience. And working with Della, I mean, Della was just so wise and so feisty. And, and I was just her little Miss Wings. And I miss her dearly, but she was a great teacher to me around that, because I also never wanted to pretend to be anything I wasn't. I mean, clearly I'm not an angel. I played one on TV, and I'm not perfect, and I mess up just like everybody else does. Um, that's not what I'm suggesting here, that we be perfect, but simply that we allow ourselves to be used for goodness, for kindness, that we allow ourselves to be used to shine the light of God's love, and that we remember that we're all connected and that we all belong to each other. I think that's the thing that we've forgotten. We've forgotten that we belong to each other. Even in our own country, we see such divided times, and anyway, I don't mean to, I know there's in the world stage, there's big issues, but I feel if we want change in our world, if we want change to reflect the kind of values and the sorts of people that we are, that we want to be, or the safety that we want our families to live in, the change has to begin inside each and every one of us. I don't know how to impact the world stage. I know how to, within my own family, within my own heart, within my own community. That's what I'm responsible for. And I'm just trying to encourage others through being an angel, that if we each did a little bit of something together, that maybe in our togetherness collectively, we could make the world just a little bit kinder.
Amen. And you are affecting the world on a larger scale by just being who you are, being so sincere with your faith, wanting others to be able to be like that as well. And, in your book, you mention other people who have been like angels, in this world, whether it's Billy Graham to Mother Teresa to,
Yeah.
Nelson Mandela. It's beautiful how you paint the picture. You also, just by seeing the amount of people who have endorsed your book from all different backgrounds of Christianity, and I love that, the unity that God has used you to kind of bring together, because the message is so pure. So I don't want to take too much more of your time, but I'd love if there's anything else that you want to share. I definitely think you have a gift of bringing people together, and the way you highlighted these various people that have been used by God is just so special. And I thank you, Roma, for that.
Thank you, Jeannie. Just maybe add that I also recorded a version of the book, because I know that some people prefer these days to listen to a book as
Yes.
opposed to reading it. And so I was able to do that myself. which actually was great. And yeah, I just wanted to mention that because I know sometimes that's, you know, a different kind of preference for people. So and the
Yeah.
book also, you know, if it's not your cup of tea, maybe there's somebody in your life that has been like an angel to you, and the book, you know, might make a nice gift for that
Yeah.
special someone. So I always appreciate how supportive you are, Jeannie, and to allow me the time to come on and just share what I've been up to, the work that I've been up to. And maybe we'll get a chance to talk in the next few months, because I have a new film that's also coming onto Amazon Prime called On a Wing and a Prayer. And it's a
Wow.
powerful story of faith too, with Dennis Quaid and Heather Graham. And I'm sure that, you know, that your viewers and listeners would be interested to hear about that. But that's for another time. For now, I'm so grateful for your support on Be an Angel. And,
Always.
you know, I just pray that anyone who reads it will find encouragement in it.